Good evening, Jody, and evening, my dogs. Is a warm welcome from a light 5 kg plus lifestyle athlete. Back into training, mate. I'm back into training, and the Christmas days are coming, but I'm off for the new season, and I've got some new plans.
What are your plans then? What are you looking at doing?
Um, a whole lot, but first, like getting back into a rhythm. Looking forward to training again. Looking forward to lifting the weights in the winter. Getting that Valera app on. Losing some weight because I'm like out of shape, but I like to get back out of that. How do you call it? Better every day. Is
Better
that
every
what it
day,
is?
mate. Just go to a dodgy Indian like I went to, mate. You'll soon lose the like 3 or 4 kilos you put on.
So I just did my first swim since Cozumel. I've done some runs and some easy bike sessions last week. So this was my first swim, and I was moving. I was absolutely moving. And do you know why that is?
Because you've got more buoyancy.
Exactly, fat flows, mate. And I was literally floating above the water like a hovercraft.
What do you think to race weight? Do you think that it's important? Like, when people obsess about it or not?
I think a lot of people are too anal about it because if you're too focused on losing weight, the paradox is that you struggle to get the calories in to first of all for energy for the sessions and second of all for the recovery. But second of all, yeah, there's a fine line, mate. There's a fine line because if you do a hilly course and you've got 3 extra kilos, it's quite hot, isn't it?
Oh yeah, massive. Do you weigh yourself in the season?
I do not weigh myself in the season. By the way, our third dog just joined, Max. Max, you need to hold on a little bit because we're talking about our weight. We're talking about our weight.
Sorry,
Um,
boys.
but did you know what someone said to me, Joe? By the way, last weekend.
What'd they say?
So a friend of him told him like, "Hey, Tom looked out of shape for Cozumel. He looked a bit fat on the pictures."
Really?
Yeah.
Don't worry, mate. We all know the only weight you're worried about is the weight of your paychecks, mate, and they come in super heavyweight, don't they?
But I've got a big news thing for you, Jody. I might be starting with a coach as of the 1st of January.
No way.
Yes, I am. I
What?
need. Yeah, I need that structure. I need that plan. I just need someone
Is it Stapley?
to hold
Is
me
it you,
accountable.
Max? Max has had a
Mate,
haircut as well, hasn't he? Look at
yeah.
that.
Ever since coming back from Bahrain, and I've just got so confident that I think I'm going to go into coaching, and my first athlete's going to be Tom Oosterdick.
It's going to take you to a front pack swimmer, Tom. The only downside is that all the races you keep entering, the swims keep getting cancelled, so it's going to be all in vain, mate.
Doesn't matter.
Out next year, I have got $1 million bonus on one of my contracts. Like
I know what that is.
We told you, didn't we, Max? Didn't we? Like you know about it. Do you know, Tom? Have I told you?
Yeah, it's probably a sponsor that's confident enough to say, "I'll give you $1 million if you come in our front pack in like an A race."
If I lead out the water, honestly, I'm not even shitting you. This is 100% in the contract. $1 million if I lead out the water in Kona this year. The $1 million contract, mate. If I could literally just get out of that water first, I get $1 million.
But is this a sponsor that has got? Is it like a wetsuit sponsor?
Yeah.
They're so confident that you are going to lead.
It's just a patron. It's just a patron of the show who's just that confident. Like he's actually not got that much money, but he's just so confident. He's just put his house up.
To be honest, if I'd had 4 people or 5 people saying like, "Hey mate, I would pay you $1 million because I'm so damn confident that you won't ever, for example, podium in an Ironman," then I would just bribe the whole flipping race.
And, like 50k each. But
yeah,
you wouldn't need to
everyone.
bribe them, would you? Because say you go to an Ironman, there's only like say 4 or 5 good people. There could be 25 people on the list. You could pay them a bit more. The next one's down, you pay a little bit less, and some of them you wouldn't even bother paying at all. Although shit happens that by the time in the race, you could just imagine the one guy you're going up against is someone who you didn't bother paying. You'd have to try and do it on the fly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. I have heard stories, by the way, from top pros who have won Kona that on the bike offered other people, other pros like good cyclists, a a big amount of money if they would ride for him in Kona. So, for example, I would come out of this water with you, Joe, and if I'm a top contender for the win, but I'm not a great cyclist, I would say, Joe, if you would pace me up to the front, I'll pay you 20 or 30 grand.
What? And they said this actually in the race, you've heard, or before? They had an
No,
agreement
in the
before.
race, and
Who
before
was
the
it?
race.
Who
In
was
the race
it?
and before the race. People that in the last 6 years have won world championships titles.
Well, tell us a name. Come on.
Go on.
I'll tell it on the Patreon
Come-
show, mate.
Ah. The patrons where we're going to end up talking all the shit. Anyway, who is this coach that you've got?
Someone told me that he's a great cyclist, and he told me when we were on the booze after a race, and he was a bit pissed
that he got paid 30 grand to tow them up to the front.
Now he was offered money if they.
And what did he take it?
He didn't take
I
it.
would take it. I would take it. If someone said to me, I'll give you 30k to tow me up to the front, I'd be like, well, I have to do all the fucking work anyway half the time, so you might as well get some money for it. Jump on. Might as well get something for it.
It's probably even more than a bike bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be. 30k. I mean, flipping heck. You'd do that, wouldn't you, Max? If someone said, like, you just give you 30k, just tow them up to the front, and you're like, well, we're going to have to ride hard anyway. Like, might as well just get 30k and just tow this muppet along with me. Who's coaching you then, Tom? Like, spill the beans.
Well,
give us a clue.
There still isn't a coach.
Oh well, how can you say you're getting coached then? Because you don't actually know. You might talk to him, and you might.
Because I have had a chat with two people, but one of them said he isn't actually coaching any people anymore. But I had
who was that?
With this guy. I can't tell, mate, because maybe I'm saying something now, and then at the end he's like, "No, I'm too busy. I don't have the time." But he was looking into it.
Is he Dutch?
No, he's not Dutch. He's
what about
Mr.
Michael Eden?
But you're gonna
Mr.
be
Worldwide.
You're gonna be surprised when I'm gonna say it, though.
Michael Eden.
No, it's not Michael Eden. It's Colin Chartier, but he's a bit busy now.
Oh yeah, but he's got a great nutrition plan, mate. Like, your nutrition is going to be on point with him. Like, I can see it now. He'll get you hiking up mountains and stuff, won't he? Now that's what I see him doing a lot now of.
I must say, his photography game is quite awesome. If he would have done that as an athlete, he would have gotten way better sponsors.
Do you reckon?
Well, he's really quite good at photography. Yeah, I think he's got some cool pictures.
But you reckon he'd have got a lot more sponsors if he was doing it?
He's posting better pictures now than he was doing then.
He is posting a lot better stuff. I mean, you were posting some good stuff in Cozumel, weren't you? I kept seeing you posting pictures of crocodiles, and I was thinking, like, firstly, why are all these crocodiles there? Where the fuck do they live? Like, because it's a little island, isn't it? Like, do they see crocodiles? Like, I was thinking, you're going to be fucked.
No, it's not a sea crocodile. Middle of the island, you've got these swamps and cenotes. You've got a lot of crocodiles and what's it called, like alligators or something? Something different. Yeah, I don't know. But these, and massive, mate, absolutely flipping massive.
Couldn't you just imagine, Max, when he was like stopped in the middle of the island, like after his third punch of this alligator just like coming up to him, and then the thing to finally top it off, he's dehydrated, he's fucked, he's not looking because he sat on a bench or something. This big flipping alligator's like sneaking right up behind him. You could just imagine, couldn't you?
And he couldn't even ride off because he got a flat.
Yeah, you couldn't even ride off from the bloody thing. You'd had to like give him your shiv, mate, and hope that he found that like as a bit of a snack.
Well, we were wondering who your photographer was, Tom. We were saying, bloody hell, who's this photographer you got? Is it your secret girlfriend, or like you brought someone out with you?
Her nickname is Jamie Mitchell instead of James Mitchell. Is my girlfriend? Yeah. She's got the artistic. She could help you two out with a bit of content, couldn't she?
Definitely, yeah. I could do with some content. Like,
I can do some content. Yeah,
I'll pick a race where you're at so I can get the free content.
You will, mate. You will. I'll treat you guys to get to some good content. But anyway, the highs and lows. Jody, go on.
Well, my high, mate, is just basically getting back in training. You know, after the last podcast, I said to you, I'm free after food poisoning. I wasn't. It came back with vengeance, mate, and it was until Friday that I lasted. Honestly, it lasted 6 flipping days, that thing. I reckon I lost about nearly half a stone. Actually, probably over half a stone. I lost loads. Like, I'm back to like race weight now. Like, I couldn't eat anything.
Are you sure it's food poisoning? Because food poisoning does only last till it's still in the tummy, right? Isn't it something
I
like
don't
a
know how else we could have
parasite?
got it, mate. We went out for a horrendous Indian. All of us came down, and the others gradually got better, and that we weren't in contact with all the other people. It must have been, mate. Honestly, I just imagine that chicken was probably festering in a warm environment for like 4 or 5 days before he gave it to us. Probably fridge was probably down or something.
Yeah, there's definitely something off. There's definitely, but I think it's a bit worse than food poisoning, because normally I've had food poisoning a couple of times, and it's 12
But they
hours
reckon,
top 24.
yeah, but they reckon it can last like some certain ones can last 4 or 5 days, mate, or 6 days. Like normally it's just one bad day. But this was like my guts were like terrible for ages.
Oh,
Honestly, it's
That's bad.
it's taken down me, and it will take bigger and stronger men for in the future as well. No one's safe from it.
I do want to hear a bit more about. So when I called you this morning, you were saying you did another high rock session, and this made me think. So you did a swim, right, and then you did like some sort of high rocks training,
Yeah, I did.
and
Yeah,
I can see this Rocky Balboa Joe Skipper, who is. Do you remember like 2 years ago during the Winter Olympics, this Vanderpool, not the cyclist, but the ice speed.
oh,
Speed
Niels
skater.
van der Poel. Yeah,
Niels van der Poel, he had like a different training regime, and then he
yeah.
was breaking world records and blah blah blah. I can see Jody now picking up high rocks in combination with triathlon, and then would make this front pack, get that million bonus.
Have you seen this Niels van der Poel, Max? Did you hear about his crazy training style? I think he
Yeah,
trained 3 days a
yeah.
week, but he did like 10 hours a day or something, something crazy like that. Or
No,
was
he
it
did
four
train
days a
like
week? He
five
trained
five 5 days a week, I think.
5 days a
I heard
week, but it was like
he wrote a PDF after winning the gold medal,
yeah,
didn't he? And it was like 72 pages, like the Bible of how to train to a
yeah. I
gold
read it.
medal, and it's like 5 days on, like 10 hours a day, like monk mode, and then he just goes ham on the weekend,
Yeah,
full
and it was
Ibiza, Cancun, gets
But he also
slaughtered.
did different training than someone else would do. For an
yeah.
ice speed, he would do something like a 30K run, and no one would do something like that in
It was all kinds of crazy stuff. 7 hour bike rides, wasn't it? It was just, and then
Yeah.
the ice skating was really short, high intense stuff, wasn't it? But yeah,
Yeah.
this high rocks thing. What I learned from it was when I was doing the ski, and I think you could take this could help you with your triathlon as well. That my forearms fatigued so flipping much. Like that was the downfall of me. Like my grip strength went, and then I went to shit on all the others. And like when you swim, you still use like your forearm strength, don't you? Like when you catch the water and you pull it, and you need to have strong arms, don't you? It was so weak that I thought, God, I must have some serious weaknesses in my body, because as a pro athlete, I don't think 1K on a ski erg should really fatigue you that much, should it? Like to the point that your grip strength
Yeah.
goes and everything, and your arm feels weak. But when you do the sled pull, it's like really similar muscles to when you swim and stuff as well, and it's actually quite fun. But it's obviously like really high intensity, because you're pulling like a sled. Well, I mean, I was only doing 135 kilos today, but like it feels pretty tough on the surface in David Lloyd. But we did like mini high rocks things, so it was like basically 50% of everything.
Would you say, Max, you need massive forearms?
I don't know, but I was so I did Bahrain on the weekend. It was the first time I actually held the TT position for that long. And you know what the Formula One drivers put around their head to train on the G forces, and they're just like
I
pulling with
like a
their neck.
weighted vest.
Yeah, my neck, mate. By the end I just couldn't keep it down. So I reckon
Oh,
I might
but haven't you trained with the iron neck from Joe
No.
maybe
Rogan?
I reckon we can develop a device where you put around your head and you just put a weight down
There
the
was
front of
one.
your face.
We bullshit busted that before, didn't we? The iron neck, didn't we? That's
We couldn't see any flipping dude using it, but you look like that guy for the marketing department.
Hey,
You should contact him, Max.
iron
You
neck.
could get a sponsorship deal from him. He's been
My
he's been
first
waiting
offer.
all this time for someone to use it, and now Max was like, "I know, I'm the guy for you. I'll use your iron neck."
Mate, I swear to God, by the end of the ride, I couldn't even fucking lift my neck up because I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. And then by the time I was off the bike, I was like, thank fuck for that. I can actually like free my head around, Because obviously you've got to stay aero, right? So you can't be like
Yeah.
looking up and looking down.
Yeah,
and I
but
was trying
you
to
gotta
stay aero.
relax it, mate. I think you've got too much tension going on around your neck area because you're
Yeah,
like,
normally.
I was just so stressed out when Alistair Brownlee was just yelling at me, mate. I was tense. I was stressed out.
what was he
When did he
saying?
start? When did he start then? So you got out of the water, you got out on the bike on transition. You must have thought, right, I'm in the pack here. This is all going to plan. And then you got in your way. And then what? How long into the ride before you started getting abuse?
So we went out, we mounted the bike onto the bike, and I knew Alistair was going to smash it. You know, like that's his style. It doesn't matter if it's an Ironman or if it's Super League, mate. He's going full gas. So we were
Yeah.
going like 600 watts up the motorway, and I was like, "Fucking, this is ridiculous." It felt like a start of a World Series. I was like, "All right, follow that big red bum." And so I just marked his wheel. You know, I said that's my ticket to the win.
How did you
So
mark it? How did you mark it? Like
Just
short course
drafted him,
style?
mate. You just drafted. Just
I
sit on him. Just sit
just
on him, Max.
I
Fuck it. If
just
there's no marshals there,
found
everyone
him.
else does it. Just sit on him.
I was sitting in, and then all of a sudden he looks back and sees me and a bunch of other lads just going like, "All right, then, mate, you go forward. You're the big dog. You're the double Olympic medal champ, whatever." And he starts going, "You want to fucking get to the front, or you want to cheat?"
Well, that's
I
what
was
he
just
said. You
like,
want to get to the front, or you want to cheat? He said.
yeah. And I just looked at him and went, "Oh, piss off," and just got back into the arrow position.
Did you say that to him? Piss off.
Yeah. I just said, "Oh, piss off, mate," and then he just like got even more angry and like dropped back and started insulting everyone. And then he went to the back for 40K and we didn't see him. So I don't know.
Did he
might have
insult
got a little
you?
rest.
Did he insult you again after that or not?
Yeah, he was just screaming as he does all the way. I don't really understand his Yorkshire
How
accent.
does he have the energy? I mean, I would really say that all the aggression negatively impacts his race. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it obviously negatively impacted his front tire because he ended up on the side of the road. Didn't he?
Would
I
you
must
say that's
say,
karma? Would you say that's bad karma from all the abuse then?
Well, I don't know if he heard me, but like when I rode past him, that's what I told Macca after the race. I was like, "Oh, do you know what I said to him when I rode past him?" I just yelled out, "Oh, karma!" Just kept like,
Karma's a
oh,
bitch, did you
man.
say?
I must say, I feel a bit sorry for him. As in that, if you see what he's doing, like he trains his flipping ass off, and just every flipping race this year, maybe even last year, it was just that people. He's got this resume where he's done literally everything, and all of a sudden he goes to long course, and everything just goes to shit, doesn't it?
He has had pretty
Relatively,
bad luck. He's
he's
had very
a
bad
lot of
luck.
bad luck. Yeah.
It would be
yeah, I mean, yeah,
demoralising.
for sure.
Training
Like,
that hard,
yeah.
you get injuries or you get like a mechanical at literally every single race nearly. I mean,
Yeah.
God, I'd be fuming.
Yeah, I mean he's by far like still the best one day racer in short course. Like what he did in short course is ridiculous. I still don't think today anyone's done that. But yeah, long course he hasn't been able to catch a break.
Which is surprising because I thought that how he raced short course, he'd be like freaking bang on, like for pretty much every long distance race, wouldn't you have thought? Like solid swimmer, really strong on the bike, really strong runner. I mean, didn't really have a weakness. You'd have thought like he'd be like clearing up even now. But maybe but do you think the fact one of the reasons is because I've heard people mention this before, it's not necessarily how old you are, it's how long you've been training at a really high level. You know, your athletic age. You know, if you've been like smashing it since you're like 12, you're now 35, it's 23 years of hard training, whereas some people don't start really training hard till they're like 20, you know, and then by the time they're 35, it's only 15 years of hard training. Do you think that that's part of the reason? It's just so many years of hard training that your body can only take so much, can't it? You know, it's not a machine.
Yeah, I think there's that, but also I think the type of training that him and Johnny do and did isn't suited at all to long distance. Like they do kind of like hyperpolarized, like hard track sessions, speed, and I like not much threshold. You know, like everything they do, they finish like exhausted, which is great for short course. You know, like because you need to be able to put yourself in the K hole like LT3 all the time, but at long course you need to be able to manage it and be intelligent, right? So I think like his aggression tactic, like works so well at short course because that you just need to rip people's legs off. It's pretty simple, but long course
And
you obviously need to manage yourself.
Did you
and
train with him in Leeds?
Not much with Alistair, but I did a lot with Johnny, and like Johnny's still so impressive, man. Like fuck, like he shifts, you know. But I can see why he struggles at long course because there's no threshold in their program, you know.
So you
But
would
what
just
is
give him.
crazy though, they've been doing this since they were kids, like day in, day out, and also his season is mega long, isn't it? and you've been going to Phuket with your missus, and then you were on the €2 Pattaya. It's a bit of a holiday, isn't it? I mean, you're still training hard, but he's in the grim UK-ish winter on the turbo trainer in a moldy old garage, and then going to the track and piss and rain 4 degrees, and then you go into Dubai or what is it, Bahrain, you have a front
Yeah, but
flat tire.
it's a myth though, isn't it? Training in the cold and shitty weather makes you strong, isn't it? That's the
Yeah,
biggest
no,
bullshit buster
I
ever.
know.
Like, why make it hard for yourself? You know what I mean? Like, if you can go
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah, it's
warm
true.
and train when it's easier,
Yeah.
then surely mentally that's a massive win-win, because instead of like forcing yourself to do these horrible, like you said, grim sessions and training there, like might have been training just as hard, but it feels like a holiday. So then when you get into
Yeah.
the race, mentally you're like way fresher. Whereas like, you know, you get to the end of a long season, you're training in like flipping 3 degrees, piss and rain. You know, no matter what they say, you can't train as hard in a British winter as you can somewhere like nice and warm.
No,
Like,
definitely not.
there's no
Definitely not.
way. Like,
I mean, look at, for example, the volume you're doing on the bike right now. It's not that you're riding 13 hours, 14 hours a week now in the winter. I mean, going out for 5 hours in 2 degrees, I wouldn't even be able to do it. And indoors, no flipping way, mate. I think I need to go to a psychologist if I would do stuff like that. But then, if you train in the cold, it's really hard on your neck as well. And I think when you go to Phuket, you're too easy on yourself. So it's
I could
also
see you in Phuket, Tom, like living the dream,
Yeah.
eating these like $2 pad thais, whatever it was you said.
fucking hell.
Like,
Can you see me, the coach from Bali?
the
Yeah.
coaching.
Everyone.
You'd
This
love
is
it,
the
mate. You should
lifestyle.
move in. You should move in with Jurgen Zach, mate. He's the king. He's the king of Phuket. He's coaching by day, karaoke and cigarettes by night. It's brilliant.
Is that what he does?
Yeah, every night. Every night, if you go down to a pub called Beach Pig on the beach, you got
Beach
Jurgen.
Pig.
You got Jurgen Zach doing karaoke, singing cervezas, and drinking and smoking cigarettes, mate. It's unbelievable.
That'll
And then
be the end of Tom's triathlon career. Then he won't be picking it back up after that. That'll be him. He'll be gone. He'll just
To be
turn into like
to be honest,
coaching.
I do like a drink, but going there every night is not really. That's not really the purpose, isn't it? I mean,
I don't know, Tom. I could see you on a slippery slope. You say that now, but once you're there and the atmosphere,
when-
and once the lady boys start rolling in, mate, you won't be rolling out.
once you get back to the lady boys, mate, that's it. You're finished. Look at Jurgen. He's done.
Yeah.
oh, you boys are so narrow-minded. But anyway, shall we? I want to hear some lows.
Oh man.
I got a low.
Go on then.
Mate, you know that bike you lent me, Joe?
Oh, you haven't broke it, have you?
no,
you haven't
no,
bloody
no.
crashed it. You haven't damaged it in the plane. What's happened to it now?
No, it's a beautiful bike and it's worth a shit ton of money, but I reckon I've paid as much as it's worth in fucking baggage fees, mate. I might as well have just bought my own.
What's the latest baggage fee then?
I've been lugging that thing around the world for the last 8 weeks. And I think
How
I've
much-
genuinely paid.
Off the top of your head now, roughly add up how much you reckon you've spent on that bike on baggage fees. Like, how much do you reckon? If you had to quickly work out where you've been and how much each one costs, you say each one and I'll work it out. I'll add it up.
So it was 700 to get it to Saudi, 700 US.
Whoa.
Then it was free to get it to Tokyo because they flew us business. Then it
Who
was
flew
another-
your business to Tokyo?
Super League.
I was going to
Shout
say,
out
it weren't
Super
British Triathlon. Weren't flipping British Triathlon, was it?
They were flying in the cargo
I
hold.
was going to say, yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and it weren't Ironman either.
Yeah. All right. So he's on 700 so far.
Then it was 500 from Japan to Phuket.
Was that 500 US again as well?
Yeah, 500 US.
Flipping extra on
So-
1200.
Yeah, and then another 240 from Phuket to Bahrain.
So on $1,440. And then what about getting back from Bahrain?
Another 250 euro.
So
And
we're on
we wanna
basically
now we want to hear about
1,700.
the mechanic fees.
Oh yeah, and also the mechanic fees were like 200 quid because
So he's on he spent $2,000 transporting it around and sorting out some basic mechanics on it. And now I'll take it back. Now you've sorted it out, you can drop it back off with me.
But yeah, mate. If I have one thing to say to the listeners, never travel with a bike through Japan if you can, mate. That place is an absolute nightmare. And I don't know if they've ever seen a bicycle in a bag because when you bring it to the check-in, it's like they have a mental breakdown, an aneurysm, mate. It's ridiculous. We spent with Kate 2 hours at the check-in trying to get our bike checked in, and they got the tape measure out, weighed it, tape measure, weighed it, tape measure, and they had 6 people trying to figure out how to get this bike on the plane. It was ridiculous. So
I would just say they'll probably have rules, and the Japanese are a bit like the Germans of Europe, but them from like the Asia kind of style. They're just very strict on the rules, aren't they? So if you're a bit overweight or a bit like oversized, then you just need to get your wallet. And but hey, mate, you've got that 3rd place in Bahrain. I've seen you shaking hands with the prince, so I reckon the next coming 5 years you'll be good to go.
He was doing Trump impressions to the prince, apparently.
Yeah, it was really awkward because like we were in the VIP section, and there was the whole Bahrain team. You had Vince, Georgia, all the big dogs, Olympic medalists, this, and then I was just hanging out there, semi-pro, not any results to my name apart from Laguna win, Phuket, and MG, the manager of the team, says, "Oh, Your Highness," because you have to refer to him as Your Highness. Says, "Oh, Your Highness, meet Max," and he didn't have anything to say. He said, "Oh, he does a great Donald Trump impression."
What is your Donald Trump impression? I really want to hear it now. Like, if it's good enough for the prince, it's got to be good enough for me and Tom.
And so MG says, "Yeah, he does a great Donald Trump impression," and the prince goes, "Oh yeah, do it." And so I was like, "Oh fucking hell, man!" Like I got really nervous because, bearing in mind, like he's surrounded by like 20 SAS guys 24/7. Like
really?
These guys, yeah. Because these guys are ready to pop, mate. Like they're stood there, they're strapped up. And I'm like, fucking hell, like, and then I thought to myself, well,
you're thinking this better be funny.
Yeah, if that was a terrible impression, mate, you would have been lost.
To myself, fucking hell, like if I say anything that offends him, I'm out of here, bro. I was like, so I gave my sunglasses to Kate, and I said to him, I said, "Your Highness, Prince Nasser, it is amazing to be here in Bahrain, my favorite country. I love your buildings; they're amazing." And he was fucking pissing his pants laughing. He's like, I was like, "I'm gonna build Trump Tower Bahrain." I said, "Trump Tower Bahrain right there." And he was like, "Oh yeah, where are you gonna put it?" I was like, "Right next to your building, Nasser, right next to your building. I'm gonna put my face on the building." And he was like, "He's a good guy," and then just like slapped me on the back, and he loved it.
Did he?
Yeah.
I sent the prince a message after that High Rocks thing about doing a doubles race. Could you imagine me and him on the team for the doubles? Like he's pretty
ripped,
strong.
mate.
Yeah, I know he's pretty strong on the sled push. I can't take 14 minutes like I did last time, can I? I'd be like, "Who's this useless twat on my team?"
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
He is actually a really nice guy. Like if you talk to him,
Yeah.
but I was speaking to Kay afterwards, and she's like, "Oh, Max, like you got a bit too close." And I was like, "What do you mean I got a bit too close?" Because like there's all this protocol you need to follow, and like we weren't briefed. And I was like, and one of the protocols is you can't lean into him unless he leans into you.
Oh,
and
really?
And when I was doing the impression, I was getting really close to him, and apparently he was like, the security was like this far from just fucking taking me out, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But
Don't
yeah,
worry. He
he's a
probably
good
thought
guy.
you were just going to whisper sweet nothings into his ear. Like he probably hasn't had that for a little while.
But yeah, no, he's a good guy. But he travels in a massive motorcade of like 20 armored Range Rovers. And
Mate,
it's like
after your third
unbelievable.
place of Bahrain, you'll have a motor vehicle trip following you round Bagnolas now, I'm sure, keeping the
To be honest,
paparazzi at bay.
the majority of races, if you're coming out of the swim first, you'll have something like a whole motor vehicle.
Yeah, if you want
entourage
if you
with
want to know
anyway.
what it's like, Max, just get out the water first by yourself, and you'll know what it's like to be the Prince of Bahrain. You'll have motorbikes right next to you. You'll have cars up ahead, and you'll
some
never see
race-
anyone else because you'll be going 60 k's an hour. When I did Ironman Wales, like back in 2019, I got to the front of the race. Took me flipping ages, 120 k's, and I got there. And this motorbike was driving way too flipping close to me. Like he was literally like 2 meters in front. But the road's like real fucking sketchy. You know them shitty British roads you get where there's like in the middle of the road there's like a bush. And it's like you either have to go the left side or the right side. But the middle's like there's like I don't know, you know what it's like, Max, don't you? All that greenery in the middle and stuff. It was on one of them. The motorbike was like 2 meters in front of me. And every time I was going faster, he was going faster, and I was on this sketchy, shitty road. And I was honestly, I'm not even lying. It wasn't even downhill, and I was going like 60 k's, 62 k's an hour. Unfortunately, because he was so close to me, that was how I punched because I didn't see a flipping pothole coming. So I hit it, punched, and that was it. But when I was doing it, I was thinking, Jesus, this thing is literally pulling me along. Like the others behind ain't got any freaking chance. Like I'm literally doing 60 k's an hour on a flat bit of road. Like because I'm trying to go fast. I'm like couldn't help it. You know, when he's that close to you in front. you pick up the speed, he picks up the speed, and he can always go quicker, can't you? And you think, God, if anyone's behind that, they're out of the race, aren't they? They're not come back. And I only end up getting it for about 6-7K because I punctured, but I must have had at least a minute lead just in a matter of like 6 kilometers. It was absolutely crazy.
Damn. Holy damn. But Maxi, I want to hear, are there some more 70.3s now on your bucket list after these two neck on neck races?
Well, I qualified for Worlds, so yeah, I'm definitely going to give that a good rip at the end of next year. Like,
Oh yeah,
why wouldn't you? You know, like New Zealand trip, and give it a good shot. I think there's quite a few short course guys doing that one, so it'll be fun to have a bit of a pack at the front. You know, do some drafting, do some motivating, and see what we can do.
One thing I want to talk about though is we've been. We, as Triathlon Mockery, the podcast of the community, have gathered round, put in some pennies in the pocket, paid that pro Max Tepley to get him to represent us in Asia, in Phuket, and now in Bahrain. And I was looking for that big dog on that tri-suit. I couldn't flip and see it. What was it? Was it like in your undies or something? Where was that? What was that logo? I would get skinned by some of my sponsors if I would do that, like not show them. What was going on there?
Yeah, I didn't have time to have it printed on the long course suit, boys. Sorry. I have to reimburse the money. I've already been chased by one sponsor, mate. Don't give me two. I owe someone a bike. They want the bike back, mate. But I said to him, mate, I got no bike. I can't give it back to you. He said, give it back to me now. Your contract's
Who was that,
up.
Joe?
No,
Swift.
Yeah.
I haven't got a contract. I was thinking that when he was saying that. I was thinking, I can't remember saying this when he was saying that. Bloody hell, you're going to lose your Swift and you're going to end up losing your Argon, mate. You're going to end up, I've got a unicycle I can lend you for some training if you want. Like,
I might start riding around on the Boris bike, mate, around in the lake. Just, get my K's in.
Is that the Swift guy then? He said that your contract's ended. You need to give it back.
He said, you're done. He was hassling me on messages, says, I need more reels. I said, pal, look, I've done my social media, right? I've raced it all over fucking the world. Don't give me, I'm not posting a reel every 2 seconds. And we had a big argument.
How many reels did he want?
What bike is that? What bike is it?
Swift.
What
Swift
is
Carbon.
Swift bike?
Is
it the same as that? Is that online game?
No, it's like it's British, isn't it? Is it a British brand?
Oh, really?
Portuguese. It's
Portuguese. Oh, right.
Portuguese. All right. So what would do? So he gave you a bike or just a frame?
To be fair, so the company loaned me a bike at the start of the year, and so it's not even my bike, and it helped me out quite nicely until I snapped it, and then I needed another one.
That was in the Super League, wasn't it?
Yeah. And now he wants it back because they say they don't want to keep sponsoring me. They say I'm too.
You keep breaking the bike.
But what
they said that? Did they say that?
No, I'm taking the piss. They just want it back.
How many reels did they want then? When he kept saying like we want the reels, how many? What's he asking?
He wanted loads, mate, off me and Kate, and I said, look, Kate's won Super League, mate. She's got fucking 10 million views on Instagram. Like, I think your bike's had good exposure, and he's like, I can't see the analytics and I can't see the business revenues, so you need to post more reels.
So basically, if he's not selling, he's like, I need more reels. And if he's selling a lot, he's happy. Like,
yeah. But how many reels are we talking? And what's
like one a week
in the contract?
Yeah. So first of all, it wasn't in my contract. I said, look, mate, it's not in my contract, and my contract's not with you. So take it up with Swift Portugal. He said, but I'm the UK guy, and I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know who you are. And then I looked in the contract, and there wasn't a specified amount. So I said, well, technically, I can post nothing, and I wouldn't be in breach of contract.
Yeah.
So
in the end, that's it. That's it. That's the answer. Yeah. That's the contract. You and you're bound to the contract, and he can have. So, he wants maybe 1 million reels a week. That it ain't gonna flip and happen.
Swifty's getting his road bike back then. So, what road bike are we going to be on next year, mate? Because I've only got 2 Argons, mate, and I
haven't
need
got
them.
a bike either.
Tom's got. So they're up. The deck collectors are after Tom's Specialized. That's going as well. So Tom and you might have to like pitch in for a bike that you can borrow.
We've got no bike for next year.
Tom will use it on weekends because he doesn't train Monday to Friday, apart from Apple season. And you can use it the rest of the time. Like, what bike are you both going to look at then? Because you both need a road bike, really, don't you? Like, what's catching your eyes?
I literally have no clue. Yeah, I literally will have to see, because I've had this tremendous season where I had one start and does DNF. I've trained flipping hard, but no results.
Was that the only race that you did? So you've got so
Yeah,
your
yeah. What the only big race? The only big
Jesus,
race, right?
mate, your PTO ranking's going to take a hammering, isn't it? Now, like you
Fucking
were
hell,
up to like
like
at
it
least
took.
like you were a top 300, and now it's going to go down.
It's gone, mate. Absolutely gone. But anyway, yeah. So I literally, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I can
Mate,
see.
honestly, I don't know. I'm thin on the ground, pal. Like, I thought I had a pretty decent year. Like, I'd be able to at least get a bloody bike. But, you know, if there's anyone
You
out
know
there
what?
listening that's from a bike brand, email me.
And if he breaks the bike, he wants another one, and you ain't getting it back.
There's a high risk of frame snappage. And if you want to cancel the contract at the end of the year, well, fuck you, pal.
And if you want the reels, make sure you get it in the contract because you.
Yeah, if you want a real kind of guy, message me.
So for the reels, message Tom. For the snap frames, message me.
Yeah. You know what,
Anyway,
Max? I was thinking next year, like the way you've ended the season, you've gone through some some non-drafting races. You won Phuket. You've top third at Bahrain. I can see you going for the PTO races now. And I was thinking this when I was out biking the other day. My mind was going mad, and I was thinking, what would be a cool thing to do? And I was thinking, I can see it now. The road to the GT3. Max is going to be doing like the PTO races. He's going to be dominating. He's going to be getting some money with his bonus. You could treat yourself at the end of next season to a nice Porsche GT3. If I win the Ironman series, I'm going to get one. Tommy's going to sell shitloads of like that caffeine stuff that he's producing now. Like he's going to be Mr. Supplement UK. You could get your mate Yeezy
we could do
when
like
he
a
wins
competition.
the short course. He can end up getting one. We can take the subscribers. I can see it now, Tom. We could drive down to Bagnoles. We could stay at Max's. And then we could do like a road trip, couldn't we, through like the Pyrenees? You
I
could
know,
head
but we
back
could.
to Amsterdam. I'll get the
This is
ferry from
the
Bilbao back to Portsmouth. Like, I can see it next December. This time next year, boys. Like,
road to the GT3.
road to the GT3. That's what
But
we've got to
first,
get our eyes on.
but
Let's
first we
do it.
need to road to a new bike to even ride the road on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Max might need one, otherwise he can't do any training. But I'm going to be smashing it next year because none of these guys have got bikes. Like half my competition ain't got a bike to train on, so I'm like quids in at the moment. All I've got to do is just make sure I ride mine.
I'm just looking into to maybe buying a new bike. Like I'm just gonna see which one would fit me best. But the hard thing is you can't really try a lot of bikes, can you? Try as in TRI.
Why?
You can't
What?
TRY.
Well, try as in triathlon. It was like a joke. But you can't really
Oh.
try a bike, can you? Like you can drive a car. Like, hey mate, can I try this one for a bit?
No, that is a big problem. No one really wants to let you use a bike, do they? Whereas you'd never buy a
Yeah,
car really without taking it for a test drive, would you?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Tough times in the bike industry. You know, they all. You know what I hate is when they pull the COVID card, mate. You know, when they don't want to sponsor you, that means you're
Well,
shit.
but I understand that. On some way, I understand it because so there's two bits. One thing is that if you want money now, it is true that in the cycling industry, a lot of people bought a lot of, group sets. Who's got shitload of these indoor trainers. All the clothing brands has got a shitload of clothes because a lot of people got into cycling. It was just during COVID. Then they've got a whole lot of frames, but then the new season is coming and then they're stuck with all the old frames. If you're sponsoring an athlete, they're also asking for money, but they just don't have the budgets to, less sales is less marketing budget, but you can still give bikes for free. That's the other hand.
So you're got your eyes on a bike for free. That's what you're eyeing up.
Mate, I don't even know where my eyes are at. But I do get that if some companies have to cut the budgets. Yeah.
Well, anyway, what's next then?
I've heard a story that, for example, Wahoo in Benelux had like 800 or 1,000 old indoor trainers.
800 or 1,000 just in
Yeah.
in Benelux.
Yeah,
Is that,
just like
I don't even know how much that is. Like, is that a lot or not? Like,
That's
I mean,
a
shitloads
lot.
of people. But
I
imagine
don't know,
how many people are
maybe
probably
even
going to
more,
buy them
maybe
now.
even more, maybe 10,000,
Really?
but just like a load, and then it's like the old model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is they're not
That's
going to
true.
sponsor your athletes and say, "Oh, but you can have the 2019 bike or the 2020 bike," because the
Yeah.
athletes want the 2023 bike, so they're
And
stuck
same
with a
with
bunch of dead weight product.
and same for if you're just one of these if you're like a rich age grouper and you want like to buy a new bike, like a high-end bike, and your range is in between 7 and 12 grand, or 5 and 12 grand, I don't know, then you do want the newest model, don't you? You're not going to buy an old model. The
Oh,
majority.
Mm.
To me, it's like, all right. I always think like a lot of the new frames don't really add a lot. I mean, the SL7 is still great, and they're coming out with the SL8. I don't think it's gonna differ
When I
a lot.
first saw the SL8, I thought it was an SL7. I thought, well, what's different there?
Yeah.
It's,
So if they would sell the previous model, for example, for 2k less, 2.5k less, to me, it's not worthwhile going for an extra 3 grand for
yeah,
the newest bike.
yeah. It's like the
what's
difference
the
between Ultegra and Dura-Ace. Like when you compare Ultegra and Dura-Ace, it's literally just a paint job. The difference, like
what's the
I don't
main
know about
subject
you.
then, boys? What are we going to talk about for that?
Well, we're 40 minutes in, mate. I don't think we need a main subject. We can talk a
The
bit more
main
on that.
subject.
So, what would you do, Joe, if you'd have to buy a bike? If you'd have to buy a bike, what would you do?
Oh my God, flipping heck. I haven't got a clue. I'd probably look on Facebook Marketplace, to be honest.
I know
Uh,
what Joe would do. I know what Joe would do because he told me what to do.
what did
He
I
said,
say?
he said, you know what you need to do, mate? Find every single bike brand you can possibly think of and
Yeah.
message them on Instagram.
Yeah, well, I would, because a lot of the bikes. Yeah, for you, that's a win-win, mate. Like, you can't, there's no.
I still have about
Hey,
20 unread messages on my
hey,
inbox.
a wise man once told me that you miss 100% of the chances you don't take.
Yeah,
So what?
that's true.
What? I'm really curious though. Would you just say to every brand, I've always been a fan. I really like your frame and the whole theory and story about the company, just like
Oh
every
no,
other
I'd just
brand in
say
the
like,
industry.
can I speak to the person from marketing from your company, and then I'd chat to the person from marketing, see what options I've got, see how good the bike is, and then pick the best bike out of whatever one I
Yeah, but
get.
let's be
Yeah.
fair. So you don't. So for example, your bike sponsor is dropping you. There is no way in flipping hell that you're gonna ride a C brand. You'd rather spend ten
No, but I'd
grand.
contact decent
And
bikes. All the bike
all
companies
right,
that I'd sponsor would contact would be good. I wouldn't contact someone shit for the sake of it, because it'd be a shit
all
bike, wouldn't
right,
it? And you'd go slow.
all right.
But if
I
worst
mean,
case scenario, if I couldn't get one, like if I was getting no luck, then obviously I'd buy one. But like I'd
exactly.
just try and get one that's like what I thought was the quickest bike.
Yeah, that
Which,
makes
like you
sense.
say, is
That's what I think as well.
easier said than done, because it's hard to know what frames will actually fit you and what bikes are fast, isn't it? Without actually being able to test it first. So that's actually pretty tough. I mean, I guess you'd have to. Normally, I think it comes around because you see one of your mates has got a bike who's maybe a similar size to you, and you see what it looks like, and if he looks pretty good on it and it seems like a decent bike, you probably go for that, don't you? Really? Don't
But
you think?
a lot of the A brands in the industry, all their TT frames, like the high end TT frames, they don't differ that much.
No, like they're all probably going to be pretty much as aero. It's just about what one
Exactly.
fits you. So you
Yeah.
need to just get one that fits you well. That's the
Yeah.
main thing.
Yeah.
And
That's funny
and then
because, at sub 7, Dan Bigham was riding. What was he riding? He's like the most aero guy in the world, right? And he
the
was riding a
P5,
Cervelo P5 rim brake.
yeah, he hates disc brakes
So,
though.
yeah. Yeah, well, that
Why?
makes
Because it
sense.
rubs.
How disc brake? I never understood how disc brakes are more aero on a road bike. Oh no, sorry,
Well,
on a
they'll go
on a
back to
TT bike.
they'll go back to rim brakes soon, though, wouldn't they? Like, and then everyone will have to change all their wheels and everything and buy new bikes. So the market wins,
I
don't
actually
they?
think that's my bullshit buster of the week, mate. Disc brake on TT bikes. Like you see these guys riding up and down to Harvey in Kona, maybe needing to do one
Yeah,
U-turn, but they got disc brakes. Don't worry,
you
they'll be able to
definitely.
stop extra fast.
Yeah, you definitely do not need a disc brake bike. I think there's in Kona. I think there's 3 times, Tom, and wouldn't you say, where you have to brake? First time is at the turnaround, is coming down Polani. That's the first time you brake, isn't it? When you take that
Yeah.
left 90-degree left, because obviously Matt Hansen, his brakes had a malfunction at the top of that descent, and he went down it. And my dad said he was standing there, and quite a few of them went down there quite quick. He said Jan took the corner quite fast. But he go, it was nothing compared to Matt Hansen. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking, but he came down there so fast, and he took out a policeman, and I think he broke his hand, and I don't know what he did to the
What?
policeman. And I spoke to Matt about it, and I said, "What happened to you that day there?" He
He
said, "Oh,
was
my brakes malfunctioned." But I heard that they malfunctioned at the top, and he decided, fuck it, I'm going down anyway. But he said, no, I started the descent and then I tried to brake. Could you imagine how scary that would be? And there was no brake there. and he said he hit 45 miles an hour when he got to that corner. And he just had to try and lean it. He just had to try and lean it a little and get round. Because was obviously not going to get round. Took the policeman out and went into the barrier. I mean, God, that'd be terrifying, wouldn't it? That would
God.
But that's the first time you brake. Second time is probably round the cone at the U-turn, like 5Ks down the road from there.
And then it's how
I don't even think you brake when you come back towards Polani because up a little, it's not that quick, is it? And then the next time is at the turnaround in Harvey. And then the fourth time would be at transition. That's the only times you touch the brakes in the whole of the race. 4 times. You could actually almost get away with just one brake.
But to be honest, in some front packs, they ride so close to each other that they have to brake when a motorbike comes around. So it's also them little times.
Yeah, but you get the Garmin Varia, mate, now, so you get a warning when that thing sneaks up to you, don't you, on your bike? Like, it tells you, and then you just gradually drop back, ease off the gas, so like the gap to 12 meters.
Free will.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing, mate. That's what I was doing. Martin was fucking fuming. He said to me, I got to the finish, I was like, oh, high five, mate. And he was like, oh, a bit close on the bike. I was like,
who said that?
You what? Martin.
Who? Martin Van Riel.
Martin was pissed off. Yeah. He was pissed off. Said, look,
was
mate,
he?
You know what they say, like you said to me, Joe, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hate the game. Oh, mate. That's it. Martin's not making me coffee when I go to Drona now.
What about so 50% or more in the front pack was hating on you with regards to the bike lag. You probably did your fair bit on the swim because you're around, but you were just fucking around on the bike with your neck.
Mate.
Probably sitting way too close because you couldn't see it. And you were
he couldn't see. He couldn't lift his head up.
It was for safety reasons, boys. I was looking where I was going. I didn't want to take you out. I just had to get close.
Yeah, you just wanted to make sure they were all right. You saw a fly on him and just was just seeing if it looked dodgy, weren't you, or if it was all right?
Well, no, the real reason is I saw Martin's pink tri-suit and it was just so beautiful. I had to get close to those 2 nice rosy cheeks, and then he got angry. So
May I ask what
you just said sorry? I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was if we were just going to go draft legal in this one.
Sorry, mate. I thought I was back in Thailand with all these pink suits all over the bikes.
I'll tell you what, Max. Race Spain. They don't care about drafting. I would like to see a header. Could you imagine if you were racing Yuri Kulin? Because you might say that you go close to other people, and you'd look round, and Yuri would be actually on your wheel, and you'd be like, Jesus, I thought I was close, but this obviously it's no problem because this guy's actually sat on me.
There's levels to the game.
There's levels to the game, Max. You've got a lot to learn yet, and Yuri can teach you everything you need to know.
Anyway,
I was trying my best to stay draft free. I had a flipping Marshall next to me for 40k, but I just got loads of abuse at the finish line, mate.
What did it do to your self-confidence? So were you thinking when you were going through transition in T2, like, were there any cameras? Are there going videos around after the race? Am I going to get cancelled for this?
I just thought, fuck them. I don't know. I looked at my power. Like, I pushed flipping 300 watts for 2 hours. Like, I thought that was pretty good numbers.
You should have said that to them. Look, guys, I pushed fairly good power. Like, it is what it is. You just said.
I said, look, it's just because you're so strong, guys. I'm so sorry. You're so strong and sexy.
They would have let you get away with that then. You'd have played right into them, wouldn't you? Like, if someone's pissed off with me, like my neighbour's pissed off with me at the moment. Like,
what, again?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah.
You've been swimming in the endless pool?
No, I drained some water from it, and he thinks it's like caused his garden problems, but it's not. It's been raining loads last week. Like, nothing to me.
What garden problems does he have? Does he suffer from flooding?
I can't really go into it here anymore than that.
I want to know. What?
Breached whale.
Yeah, his garage might be breached, but I think it was the rain. There was nothing to do with my endless pool.
It's nothing got to do with 20,000 litres.
The pool still got water on it. It was just the water on
minutes, but it was the rain from last 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's like rain from the last 4 weeks, mate. There's a bit of rain on the cover. Nothing out the ordinary. He's like collared Laura today and like tried to have a go. And he's obviously waiting for me. But I haven't seen him yet. I've avoided him.
20,000 litres, like literally flooding away in 10 minutes, and his whole garage and the fundamentals of it. It's all
His car's lifted up to like the rafters, mate. Like he opened the door and the water pushed him back.
he could literally raft in his backyard. And it was from rain from weeks ago. No, but it's true. If you don't have a proper, what is it, like a drainage system, and you want to empty your pool with 20,000 liters, then
I'll drain that into the drain, like with a big I use a pump with a big I don't know what you call it, like a funnel on it, and it like goes into the drain. This was just a bit of water off the cover, but he's never liked me. I had a good solution for it. I wanted to sink the damn thing in the garden, so it was like minimal eyesore, flat as a pancake. You wouldn't even know it was there. He wouldn't let me do it. Would have been happy. He would have been happy as Larry then. He wouldn't know. Now he's just angry, mate. Like any opportunity he gets, he has a dig at you. You get builders like do some work, he'll have a go at you. He's just a very angry man. Tony's his name.
Calm down, Tony.
Tony, okay. Calm down, Tony. It's all right. Calm down. Like
Christmas is coming, mate. Show him a bit
Christmas
of love.
is coming. I'll show him a bit of love. I'll send him a Christmas card through the letterbox, and it'll be sweet.
Dip it in your pool before you send it over, mate. Nice
when I see my neighbour, Jane, the woman, I say to her, "Oh, you're right, Jane," and she's really bitter and angry, and she tries to make not eye contact with me and just completely ignore her. Now, would you, in that case, be like, I ain't saying hi to her again? Or would you find it funny saying to her, "Oh, you're right," and being really nice just because you know that she can't stand you? Because I find it...
I would just be... you need to watch, of course, your tone, because if you're doing it in a sarcastic way, then she knows that you're taking the piss, which would be bullying.
Well, do you think she thinks that I'm taking the piss then?
Yes.
Like, so I'm like, what, you think that?
Just whenever you see her, just be really nice and say, "Hey, Jane, how you doing? Have a nice day." And if she doesn't say anything, just do it every time.
I do.
But not in a sarcastic way, mate.
What would be a sarcastic way then? Like how you think I might do it?
Hey, Jane! I don't know.
Oh, come on. I'm not Noel Mulkey, mate. Like...
No, but just being over enthusiastic where you're like obviously taking the piss. If you
I go like this to her. I go, "You right, Jane?" Like that. You all right?
Hey, Jane, nice weather today, isn't it?
Yeah, she tries not to make eye contact with me. And
how's
she's...
the garage doing?
I said to her when I wanted to get
I saw your husband rafting last week.
Hey, say what's wrong with Tony? Has he got anger management again?
Oh, mate, he has. When I was swimming in there one day in the summer, right? I don't even know if I've said this story on the podcast, but I was swimming in there. This is when we first got it. And Techno was round. We were doing a bit of a swim. Like I was getting in there, smashing out a few intervals. Then Mark was getting in there because you know what it's like. You get all excited, don't you, when you get a new toy? So we were like flipping, cranking it up. And she said, "You can't." She literally stood on the fence. Like she must have climbed up. She was like flipping like Tarzan, like sticking her head over the fence and everything. She said, "You can't swim in there." I didn't realize she was saying it because I was like swimming. Mark was there and Mark like got my attention. I went, "What's the problem?" She went, "I told you I didn't want you to get this pool." And I said, "Yeah, I know, and I told you I was going to get it anyway." Then I carried on. She said, "You're a little boy," or something like that. Said to me, and I like something really like patronising. She said, and I said, "Well, you're the one acting like a kid climbing up my fence now, like giving me abuse in my garden." And then Tony comes in. "Don't you talk to my wife like that. Calm down, Tony. Like, I'm not the one climbing on the fence giving me abuse,
I'm just having a swim, mate.
I'm just having a swim, trying to mind my own business, It's a nice day in the summer.
What about if you, I think at some part, so you had the kickoff at the beginning, and that was like a boiling pot of anger. You should have just went round after 2 weeks with like a bouquet of flowers and said something like, "Hey, Jane and Tony."
Oh, mate, the damage was done. The damage was done, mate. You know what the latest thing was kicking off, don't you?
No, but you should have said something like, "We started off on the wrong foot." And,
no, there's more. There's more, mate. What's causing kickoffs now?
They're all
cardboard boxes, mate. That is a huge topic at the moment in here. Letters have been going to the management company. The management company's been taking pictures of our cardboard boxes in the bin, sending it through to our door,
What is
saying,
cardboard boxes?
you know, like when you get a delivery, it comes in a
Yeah.
cardboard box, like say from Amazon. So you imagine like there's all kinds of
Oh,
different
right. Yeah,
sizes of
yeah.
them.
Them,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have like these big communal bin, and you put it in there, and
Yeah.
everyone has to share and get along all nice, pretend you're all mates. We put our stuff in there. Bloody paps are out, aren't they? Taking pictures of it, sending it to the management company, and we're getting letters through the door from the management company saying, like, you know, what the hell's this? But they're literally they are taking pictures of other cardboard boxes as well and trying to pretend that they're Oz. Cute, mate. They're absolute fiends. Like
Do
everything
you
they
leave
can.
your name on the cardboard boxes?
What's that?
Do you leave your name on the cardboard boxes? Like if it's to Joe Skipper?
Sometimes not. But even other ones, they'll
Oh,
take
that's a
pictures. Like
rookie mistake. You need to cross your name out, and then you can say, "What are you talking about?"
I went out
That
there with
wasn't
a load
me.
of
This
cardboard
one said
boxes.
Tony. It said Tony.
I went.
How do I know it's not you, Tony? You're sabotaging me.
I went out there with a load of cardboard boxes the other day with Laura. We're putting them in, like folding them all up, putting them in. And one of the neighbours came out because quite a lot of them are quite old. This guy's like, he's got to be 70s. And we've seen him for 2 years. And he said, really confused, "Oh, well, you're just moving in?" I said, "No, I've been here for 2 years, mate." And he said, "Oh." I don't know if he was saying it sarcastically, as in like, you've got a lot of cardboard boxes, or if he was very confused and he genuinely thought that we had moved in the house. I still
Do you
don't
know what
know.
I find the contradiction in your life? So on one hand, you've got these 70-plussers who are like your best mates round, and you train with them every day. And on the other hand, the whole neighborhood that is in that age
Yeah.
is trying to bully you out of the community.
Mate, you should just get the the pensioner on them. He'll sort them out.
Oh, mate, the powerful
Here,
pensioner's
don't touch
moved.
my mate.
He
Don't
moved.
touch my mate.
He had a bit of disrepute with one of his neighbours. He couldn't cope with the banging and stuff, so he's moved to Sheringham. He bloody moved 25 miles away. If you
What
think about
banging?
it, like, I don't know, he said his neighbour like banged loads and stuff like that, slammed the door and stuff like that, and he thought,
Oh,
I
not
can't do it,
banging.
I'm cracked. Yeah, not banging like he thought. Like, I know what you were thinking.
I was thinking the fit pensioner.
Bad for pensioner had his
That's why
like
your
bloody
neighbour moved
stethoscope.
out. Isn't that
He
why
had
your
his
neighbour moved out, Tom? You were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. He had his stethoscope on the wall, didn't he? Like, seeing what he could hear.
Hey guys, have we got a bullshit buster?
Well, I was going to say the neck brace, but actually, Max reckons there's a point for that. A bullshit buster, I don't really know, to be honest.
Bullshit buster. Fuck.
Do you know what I'm going to do, by the way, Joe?
What?
So I've literally had the time off since Cozumel, and I've gained like a few kilos, and I want to go straight into, so I've done 2 times 1 hour on the bike, really easy, straight into a 4DP test, and I want to make a video.
Oh, that sounds grim. That sounds so grim.
Yeah.
Would you be up for a 4DP test, Max? We
What's
should
that?
all do one, shouldn't we? We should all do
I'm
one.
not even sure if I would be able to complete it.
Let's
What's
all
that?
do one, film
Is
it,
it?
and we'll get the footage and mix it all into one.
What's a 4DP test?
Where it's a power test where you have to do 2 7-second sprints,
Yeah.
a 5-minute max, a 20-minute max, and then a 1-minute max.
Whoa.
And then untrained, so you can imagine 1 month off season, and then straight into like one of the grimmest tests in the scene.
Is this what your new coach has got you doing?
No, this is still like...
He's sneaking that in. He's sneaking that little one in before he gets the new coach.
Yeah, he's
No,
definitely got the new coach because he's got to get baseline numbers. So he's lying to us. He knows his coach.
No,
Do you reckon?
I've literally, so I've got 3 people in mind where I actually want one of them, but he straight said at the time, like, hey mate, like I don't have the time, but he just think it's fun to coach me. So he said, I'll think
I'll
about
coach
it.
you for fun. Me and Max would coach you. Like, Max can give you a swim sets. I'll give you the bike and run sets or whatever. I'll give you one sport, and we can get someone else to give you the other sets.
You could be the other 2 coaches, but then maybe with the patrons as well, throw them in there, share the sessions.
All right then.
But 4DP test, that will be a good one. A video with the 3 of us. You should do
That
it,
would
Max.
be good.
Off
Yeah, I'll do
season.
it. No problem.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You sure what you're signing yourself up for? I puked there last time I did it.
He
all right.
loved it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's sort that out via WhatsApp, and I think that'll do for today's podcast, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. All right, boys. See you
Thanks,
later.
Rory.
See you later, guys.
See you, dogs.
Yeah, bye.
See you. Bye.
Wait.